Hey Tommy, I've noticed that you've been spending a lot of time on cars.com recently. What have you been up to?
Yep, so I've been putting together this list, which is the top 10 unbelievable new car deals. So here's the deal, right? When a manufacturer puts a car for sale, there's an MSRP, manufacturer's suggested retail price. But in reality, you're not going to find a car for that MSRP because a lot of new vehicles will be discounted by dealers, especially if they've been sitting on lots for a long time. So Cars.com has these discounted prices, and there are some crazy new deals out there.
Yeah, so these are cars that you can buy today if you so choose. And we're going to give you the list starting at number 10, which is the least discounted, all the way to number 1. Which has, oh my God, a $61,000 discount?
Exactly.
You're joking. A new car with a $61,000 discount. I can't wait to get to that. So let's get started. Other cool thing, before we deep dive into this list, is that we've driven most of these cars.
Oh, we have.
So we'll tell you a little bit about them as well, and we'll tell you why we think they're being discounted. So what's number 10, Tommy?
So number 10 on our list is a 2020 Toyota Corolla LE. This is for sale right now at a dealership in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Now, this vehicle has an MSRP of just over $21,000, $21,005, but this dealer is offering this car brand new for $15,523.
That's because it has 10 miles on the clock.
Yeah,
No,
all these cars are brand new, of course.
You know, I think the reason that the Toyota Corolla is getting discounted is it could be a lost leader. You know, like they do that with milk, right? You go to the grocery store, they make it cheap so that you get in there and buy something more expensive, like a steak, or in this case, maybe a Camry. But let's face it, the Corolla, we've driven it. It's a good car. They've updated it. They've made it a little bit more emotionally appealing, right? A little bit more exciting. It looks a little cooler. It's just, you know, a much better car. It's no longer vanilla toast. I'm going to call it pumpernickel.
And the thing is, I don't know what that means. And the thing is,
pumpernickel, you know, it's a little more exciting.
I'm not interested in bread. The thing is $5,500 off a BMW is a big discount, but $5,500 off a Corolla LE, which is already an affordable car, brings this car down to $15,000, which is pretty killer.
Yeah, and that's a 2020 model. That's not even a 2019. You think to yourself, these are 2019s that they're closing out, and some of these actually are 2019s and even 2018s
that are still unsold. Yeah,
still unsold. But that's a 2020. How about number 9?
So number 9 is even more affordable. It's actually the cheapest car on our list, and this is a 2019 Mitsubishi Mirage ES. It has an MSRP of $16,395, but a dealership in Florida is selling one right now for just $9,480. The caveat being you have to drive a Mirage.
Yeah, it's on sale at RC Hill Mitsubishi in DeLand, Florida. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm sorry if you guys are down there and I mispronounced it. I don't know where that's at, but you know, at that price, it would be worth buying an airline ticket one way and then flying down there, picking it up, and driving it home. Of course, we do not take any responsibility for what happens when you get down there and this price is different than stated.
Right.
Potentially, you know how that goes. It is quite an affordable Mitsubishi Mirage, but then, like Tommy said, you got to drive a car with 13-inch wheels
and 3 cylinders,
and
and cardboard doors.
And yeah, it's kind of cost-cutting at its pinnacle. Let's put it that way. All right, number 8, and this is one I would actually go and buy.
Yep, so this is the 2019 Volkswagen Golf SE, and actually, if you check out Cars.com right now, some of these, there's like one outlier. The Golf, however, is consistently well below MSRP in the real world. So this has an MSRP of 33. The one we found is $26,000 before tax credits, so that's a discount of $7,000. This car is in Maryland. And
$7,500. Federal, $7,500.
No, the discount is $7,000.
Oh, sorry, yeah, and then the tax credit, the federal tax credit is $7,500. So you're looking at $14,500.
Well, hold up there.
Yeah.
$7,500 minus subtracted from the $26,000 dealer price is going to bring it to like $18,000.
Yeah.
And then depending on state, you could get this car well into like the 15s if you have if you live in a state with a good tax credit.
Yeah, it's got 15 miles on the clock. It's at sale for Oarsman Volkswagen Volvo of Bethesda, Maryland. So you got to go to Bethesda.
It'd be a long drive home if you live not in Bethesda.
It would be a long drive home to California, especially since it only has about 125 miles of range.
But like we said, I mean, these e-Golfs start at 31, but if you go on a lot of these websites, you can find them all day long for 25, 26, 27 grand.
And there's one right now parked in our studio that we're doing a long-term review on. So if you want to check out what we think about it, click on TFL Now and look it up, and you'll see that we like the car a lot because basically it's a Golf with an electric engine, and
nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. All right, Tommy, what about number 7? This is an American luxury icon.
Yep, well, it's a Cadillac, but it is the XT4. Now, the XT4 is a very hot vehicle for Cadillac. It competes with, that kind of small luxury crossover from Lexus, BMW, Mercedes. Audi, yep. So this vehicle has an MSRP of $38,965, but a dealership in Santa Clara, California is discounting one down to $30,500, which is a total discount of $8,400.
Yep, Stevens Creek Cadillac has got it on sale. It's got 6 miles, and let's face it, Cadillac's design language is not resonating with a lot of buyers.
No.
And that's part of the problem. I think when you try to out-German Germans, it's a very tough assignment indeed. Unlike Lincoln, which seems to have hit their stride. But I did test drive this car, and it's a really good car, If you're looking for a small crossover and you want something that your neighbor won't have because they'll probably have one of the Germans, this is a good way to go.
Yeah, it's not a bad car at all. It really is a nice driving vehicle.
Especially at $30,500. All right. Now, number 6 on our list has a lot of caveats, but let's talk about it.
Yep, so number 6 is a vehicle I forced our producer Zach to put on because it's just so out there. Now, there's a lot of questions we get. What happens if a car does not sell on the dealer lots? Does it get crushed? Does it get thrown away? What happens to it? Well, it actually just sits there and sits there.
It gets cheaper
and cheaper. And it's still a brand new car because no one has purchased it. And that's exactly what has happened here. So this is a 2018 Ford Focus SE that's being sold by a dealership in King George, Virginia. It has an MSRP of $21,120. But with an $11,125 discount, this dealer is offering it for $9,995 brand new.
Yeah, Bayside Ford, it's got 19 miles on the clock, but there are some things you have to be aware of when buying a Ford Focus. What are those, Tommy?
Well, first of all, this one's beige, which doesn't help anything. It's also been sitting for quite a long time if it's 2018, but the worst part is the transmission. So these Focuses used a power shift automatic transmission, which is notorious for having all sorts of issues. But the good news is, it's still a brand new car, so it still has its original warranty, and it's cheaper than walking.
So Ford is actually under federal investigation for 2 million Fiesta/Focuses with this power shift dual clutch. Consumers filed more than 4,000 complaints with federal regulators, and there have been up to 50 injuries reported, according to the Detroit Free Press, because of this transmission.
But it's a brand.
So, like I said, there are a lot of caveats there. So there's a reason why it's discounted. But if you want, a 2018 Ford Focus for $11,000, this is the one to get.
No, $10,000.
Oh, sorry, $10,000. It's $11,000 off.
Look, just buy the Focus, keep it till the warranty runs out, and then sell it for what, $5,000? I mean, you just had a car for, I don't know what the warranty is, it's probably 3 years, for just a couple grand.
But you're going to have to wrap it. That's going to cost money.
All right, the beige is a killer. So number 5 on our list is something completely different and far better in many, many ways.
This is one I would buy in a heartbeat.
Yep, so this is a 2019 Kia Stinger GT2 rear-wheel drive. This is a pretty high-performance model. It's being sold out of Garden Grove, California with an MSRP of $51,000, but this dealer is offering a discount of over 11 grand, which brings it down to just $1 under 40 grand.
Yeah, so it's got 10 miles on the clock. It's being sold at Garden Grove Kia. The MSRP is $51,000 originally, and I was there when this car was unveiled at the, I think it was at the Detroit Auto Show, if I recall, and everybody was stunned because actually the concept for this was revealed. It was such a gorgeous car, and basically this is an Audi in style, in performance, but not in price.
Right.
And the issue right now is nobody is buying, especially rear-wheel drive sporty cars.
Right. And so there's 2 engines you can get in the Stinger. There's the big, powerful twin turbocharged V6, or you can get the turbocharged 4-cylinder. They're both great vehicles. If you go on some of these websites, they're being discounted the heck out of right now. Strongly recommend taking a look at a Stinger.
Yeah, I would buy that. And the next one actually drove as well up in Aspen, and I was super impressed with it because it had not only good performance, but also good fuel economy. And what we're talking about is the 2019, so it's a year old, well, not yet, XE 20D Premium. And the 20D is the interesting part, because what does that mean, Tommy? What's a 20D?
It's a 4-cylinder turbocharged diesel.
Yeah.
This one is 16 miles on the clock, MSRP of 45. Dealers offering it for 32. The XE is actually a fairly brilliant little car. I think one of the reasons that this one isn't selling is diesel's kind of a tricky thing here in the US right now, and especially a diesel premium sedan is like this, the triple death.
Quadruple death, because just add Jaguar to that.
Well,
so it's being sold by Cole European Jaguar and Land Rover in Walnut Creek, California. It's a car that competes directly with the BMW 3 Series.
Mercedes C-Class.
Mercedes C-Class.
Yes.
Once again, it's stuck in this sedan world that no one is buying right now. But I drove it. I loved it. I thought it was sexy. I thought it was very much something different. Once again, something you're not going to see. So if you are not a diesel hater, if you love diesels and you want a small premium European sedan that's under warranty, that's a great deal. Go get yourself this guy.
So number 3 on our list is one of these cars that this is just one example, but check them out. I mean, there's hundreds of examples of this. This is a 2019 Dodge Journey. This one's an SE, so it has an MSRP of $27,130, but it has a discount of $13,641. It's over half off right now, which brings the brand new dealer price to $13,500 for an all new. Well, I shouldn't say all new, for a brand new, albeit ancient platform with a warranty, with a 4-cylinder engine, with the 4-speed automatic. I mean, what a deal.
Yeah, Hemet, or is it Hemet Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in, is it Hemet or Hemet California is selling this car. Now, this car is older than you are, at least in its conception. But, you know, it's got 2 things going for it. Actually, 3 things.
Yep.
So the first thing it's got going for it is it's a people mover. So it's basically a minivan without the sliding doors.
There's a tremendous amount of space in it. Yeah.
And which means it's as useful and as utilitarian as a minivan,
right,
without the kind of the, you know, mommy mobile stigma. So that's great.
Oh yeah, I am rolling on 19s. Ha ha! 19s. All right. This is not the ideal car, vehicle, man van to go canyon carving in, because let's face it, it's not about that. It's about getting as many people in here as comfortably as possible.
Number 2, they're, you know, really good basic transportation. They've been around a long time. They've worked out most of the problems.
Right.
And number 3, if you care about keeping Dodge in business, because the tooling for this vehicle was paid off like 20 years ago.
Right.
It's a moneymaker for Dodge. So forget about the Dodge Journey, but if you want the Hellcat, this is a way to help support the company, because you're putting a lot of money into Dodge's coffers when you buy one of these.
How can you put that much money into their coffers? It's for 13 grand.
Well, the dealer probably paid a lot more than that for it.
Well, here's the deal. So a 4-speed automatic, I think, is the lowest number of gears of any new car you can buy. And I think that 2.4 liter is not actually the Tiger Shark.
Yeah.
It's the World engine, which is something you'd find in like a PT Cruiser or a Neon.
What do you have against the Hellcat, Charger, and Challenger?
Nothing.
Why do you want those to go away?
But
you want to encourage people to buy these Journeys so that we can get more 707 horsepower.
I'm encouraging people to buy the Journey because it's a crazy deal for a brand new car.
You know what? I would get this car and then give it to your wife or husband, and then pick yourself up a Hellcat.
All right. So,
number 2 is another FCA product.
Yeah, so this is a lot more fun. This is a 2018, so once again, it's been on this lot for a long time. Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, MSRP of 76 grand, but a dealer in Ann Arbor, Michigan is selling one for $56,795, which is a discount of 20 grand, 15 miles on the clock. It's also black.
Yes, the suburban Alfa Romeo Fiat of Ann Arbor is selling this sexy, shall I say, stylish
twin turbo V6
Italian
stallion.
Yep, for $56,000. You get a warranty, which is important.
Wait, you do get a warranty. It's brand new, and it's just the most incredible sound of just about any new car.
It does sound incredible.
It's got carbon fiber everywhere. It's got performance tires.
You drove it in the rain, didn't you?
I did not drive it in the rain.
Was it the Maserati you drove in the rain?
Yes, that was the Maserati.
I drove it in the dry, and I love the sound of it. I love the performance. It does have a rather I would call it somewhat dated infotainment system.
Yep.
So, now we've got this big screen. The screen is relatively small. But, if you're longing for something that is sexy and Italian and you need room for you and your family, this may be the way to go. And you can save $20,000 and get a warranty.
Okay, so number 1 on our list is also 2018. This one is the most expensive by far with the hugest discount. So this is a 2018 Aston Martin DB11. This is the full top dog Aston with an MSRP of $221,459. But if you buy your 2018 DB11 brand new from a dealership in Downers Grove, Illinois, they'll give you a discount of $62,000, which brings the dealer price down to $159,800.
Yeah, that's my old neighborhood there. I grew up in Hinsdale, next to Downers Grove, and Napleton Aston Martin is selling this thing with only 10 miles on it.
It's brand new.
No one's test driven this thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, who's
it's
gonna,
2 years.
They're not going to let you test drive a $221,000 car.
Well, that's probably why they're not selling it. Look, this car is going to depreciate faster than lead.
Right.
Right. But it seems like a lot of that depreciation has happened while it was sitting on the dealer lot. So if you're willing to, take on a little bit more depreciation and you want a car that is sexy, sounds great, and certainly will be the only one on the block of its kind,
right?
Then go get yourself an Aston Martin.
Okay, so our bonus is a vehicle I'm super passionate about, and I think, according to Cars.com, there's only 4 or 5 of these brand new left in the entire United States, but shouldn't be that surprising because it's a 2017 model. Volkswagen Touareg V6. It's got 11 miles on the clock with an MSRP of 51 grand and an $11,462 discount, which brings the dealer price down to $39,588. So this is a brand new car, and I don't want to say old, I want to say classic in some ways, for 39 grand.
Yeah, I think it's still too much, actually. It's being sold by Booker Volkswagen of Franklin, Wisconsin, and this car was recalled. It's got that 3-liter.
It does not, actually.
No, you sure this one doesn't have the 3-liter?
No, this is a gas V6.
Oh, it's a gas V6.
This is a 3.6.
Because you could get you could still find
the diesel gates though, but those are different. Those have been bought buybacks and they've got miles on them. This is brand new.
Yep. So I would say, the Volkswagen Touareg was replaced here in America with the Atlas because you get 3 rows versus 2 rows. But I personally have a soft spot in my heart for the Touareg. I think it's one of those, Goldilocks kind of cars. It's not too big, not too small. It's just right. And the V6 was okay.
Yeah, it was like, I think a 3.6. It was a VR6 engine. Like I said, there's only 4 or 5 of these left in the U.S. brand new. Period. But like I said, I mean, they were very misunderstood cars in the U.S., which is why they're still around, even though they haven't been sold for several years.
And here's my top tip from this list. You can also get the 3-liter Touareg with the diesel that was recalled and then retrofitted.
Right.
We actually did a video on the Audi 3-liter, which is the same engine, that was also recalled and fixed.
Right.
And it was actually really good.
Yeah, those are buybacks that Volkswagen had to fix and now they're trying to resell.
Yeah, and I've been looking kind of in my spare time at these because there's a part of me that thinks that those are a really great deal, and the market's starting to kind of reflect that. So for a long time, you could buy those 3-liter diesels that were repaired for relatively cheaply, but they're starting to come up in price. So if you guys find one, it's not a bad buy, actually. So that's kind of the top Roman tip. Do you have any tips on this?
Yeah, buy the Focus, because I think a 10 grand car that was originally 21. No, it's a cool thing. I like that Focus.
Yeah, this thing with 50 injuries reported doesn't bother you?
No, because it's got a warranty. So.
Yeah, but that happened before.
It's fine. Get the Focus. I think it's cool.
So there you have it, guys. Those are the top 10 unbelievable car deals that you can go and get right now. Please don't email us if you want one of these. We give you the name of the dealerships. Look them up yourself.
Yeah.
We're not in the car selling business, but we thought these were fun. And Tommy, you got to stop playing on Cars.com and get back to making Touareg videos.
I sure do. So as always, this is Tommy.
This is Roman saying thanks for watching.
And go back to tflcar.com for the latest and greatest in everything new car reviews.
That Aston Martin.
Yeah, it's 160 grand still.
That's a lot of money, yeah, but it's cool.